Bizzibox's expert information on food allergies and eczema. What are the most common food allergies?
The most common food allergens, number one, milk. Number two, wheat or gluten grains. Wheat is very high in a protein called gluten. In fact, something called gliadin, which is not in oats. So oat allergy is very rare, but wheat is very common. Number three, yeast. A lot of people react to yeast. Yeast is in beer, as in brewer's yeast. It's also in bread, as in baker's yeast, but it's not, for example, in pasta. And quite a lot of people react to eggs, and for reasons that aren't extremely clear, egg white, not the egg yolk.
What are the common symptoms of food allergy?
A food allergy happens because the body's immune system attacks the food, and that's part of an inflamed or inflammatory reaction, which usually means pain, redness, swelling. So, for example, this could be itchy skin or eczema. It could be an itchy throat or difficulty breathing as an asthma. It could be digestive problems where the digestive tract's irritated, so you get maybe diarrhea or bloating or abdominal discomfort. It could be headaches. It could be dark circles under the eyes or puffiness or aching joints. All of these are classic food allergy signs.
How do food allergy and food intolerance differ?
There's a lot of confusion about the words food allergy and intolerance, and technically if you eat something and you react to it in an abnormal way, we call that an intolerance. Clearly you can't tolerate it. The basis of allergy means that you've proven that the reason you react is that your immune system are producing little things called antibodies that attack the food. And that is technically a food allergy. Now, in the early days, we only knew of one kind of antibody, which was called IgE-based antibody, that caused these reactions. So that was called food allergies. But it was very clear a lot of people were reacting to other foods that weren't caused by an IgE antibody reaction. We now know there's another type of antibody called IgG. So I call an IgG-based reaction a food allergy, although some people are still calling that kind a food intolerance.
Who should I see if I think I have a food allergy?
If you do suspect that something's causing you to not feel good, then it's best to see a nutritional therapist because they are trained specifically in this. There are a number of tests around, and good, well-validated tests, usually involving a pinprick of blood. And they're very, very useful, but it's very good to have a professional who can explain the results and explain what to do, because about a good 3/4 of all food allergies can be unlearned. So it's not necessarily a life sentence, but you need to learn how to unlearn your food allergies.
What happens during a food allergy test?
A normal food allergy test, you take a pinprick of blood, and what happens is that blood is then effectively diluted and put into a whole lot of trays, maybe 100 or so trays, each of which contain specific food proteins. So now your blood is meeting a food, and if your bloodstream reacts, in other words produces antibodies, you start to get a complex building up, and when you shine light through that complex, it's now much denser. And in this way you can identify not only if someone's blood literally contains antibodies that attack that food, but also how many antibodies it contains. So on an allergy test these days you'll get, for example, a +3, +2, +1 or no reaction.
What foods aggravate eczema?
A condition like eczema is linked to allergy, but we are all different. So while the most common foods are milk and also eggs in the case of eczema, with wheat probably being a close third, sometimes it's not that. I had one client who had eczema-like condition, and I tried absolutely everything and nothing made a difference. And one day when he was having a bath, he'd taken his watch off and the watch fell behind the bath and he couldn't get to it for about 3 or 4 days. and his eczema cleared up. He was actually reacting to metals in his watch. So we are all different.
What foods will help my eczema?
Allergic reactions such as eczema means that the body's in a state of inflammation. And for example, omega-3s, very high in mackerel or salmon, but also in flax seeds, helps to calm down inflammation. Quercetin, which is a nutrient that's very high in red onions, also switches off inflammation. So too does vitamin C to an extent, something called MSM, it's a form of sulfur. In pineapple, there's an enzyme called bromelain. Ginger also is a natural anti-inflammatory. So there's quite a few nutrients that can calm down an allergic reaction. But the first and most important thing is to find out what might be causing it in the first place.
www.bizzibox.com